Hey. Well, Bryce, how are you?
Good.
It's good. That's good. How was your weekend?
It was good.
That's good. That's good.
I feel like I worked the whole time, and I technically did. So.
Well, I was over at Uncle Brian's house basically the whole Saturday, and then I was watching the race. It was the only time I was at my house today, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, so welcome to Shifting Gears.
We have 5 different gears we're going to talk about.
5 different topics.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
All right. Welcome to Shifting Gears Studio 24. If I can find it right there. Studio 24 coming at you. So, we haven't been, it's been a couple weeks. We've been busy. Been very busy. But it's all right. But last week, I was actually in Kansas. He wasn't. I tried to get him to go, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
He had to work. But anyway, we were in Kansas. I have a video. I have an at-track video that I'm going to edit. I've started on a little bit of it, but we had revival this week at our church, which was really good. It was really good, but I wasn't at home to edit it. So I have not really been home, had a chance to edit anything for like a week. So, but I'll get that out there hopefully tomorrow night or Tuesday night. And then this video will come either before or after, depending on which one I choose to edit first. So probably be this one first tomorrow night, and then the at-track Tuesday. So, but the Kansas race, just a little recap. A little recap for the whole playoffs. It's been really good. The playoffs have been really interesting. Denny Hamlin, he skidded through the first round.
He did. He had a really bad couple of rounds, or couple of races.
But he made it through, and now he's like plus 30, so it is what it is. Hopefully he still crashes on lap 1 in the Roval. That'd be cool. But anyway, and then Ross Chastain won Kansas last week, which is really cool. I actually sported Ross Chastain in Trackhouse all weekend. So last weekend, because I forgot the shirt, couldn't find it, so I just wore my Shifting Gears shirt. But then I decided to buy this hat, and so he actually signed it. If you can see, you can. He signed it right before the race. My daughter got to meet him. It was my son Sammy's first race, so he was really excited. He, unfortunately, as you'll see in the video, we wanted him to pick any shirt he wanted, NASCAR wise, that he could get. Guess which one he picked? Kyle Busch. Only because Sammy's 8 and Kyle Busch is the 8 car. So here's rooting that next year when he turns 9, he'll be a Chase Elliott fan again. But anyway, so then my son Zachariah picks Christopher Bell for whatever reason. So
Christopher Bell's good.
It was funny though, because when we were doing driver introductions, all of our drivers got through and we forgot about Christopher Bell. He had the pole, I think. And so we're just talking, waiting for it to be done to get to our seats. They announced Christopher Bell, and all of a sudden my son started screaming, and we looked at it. He's like, yeah! Nobody else was paying attention. I was like, good for you, Zachy, good for you. So, and then Kiara rooted for Ross Chastain, so my wife and Kiara was really happy. I was really happy too. Ross Chastain is probably right there equal with Chase Elliott for how much I like him, so be quite honest with you. He's quickly becoming my favorite driver. I always probably cheer for Chase Elliott, but Ross Chastain and Trackhouse in general, I really like them. So good for them. Got to see the Watermelon Smash live. And then that was shifting in the first gear. I didn't even say that part, but that was the first gear that we wanted to talk about. So Bryce, shift us in the second gear, why don't you?
Our second gear will be the lawsuit that 2311 and what was the other one?
Front Row Motorsports.
Front Row Motorsports. Is suing NASCAR.
Yes. They are suing NASCAR as an antitrust lawsuit. I've tried to do as much research as I could to see what side I'm on and what it is. To be quite honest, I still don't understand 100%, so I'm not really going to say which side I'm on or whatever. All I will say is that I'm not necessarily 100% opposed from what I see to them doing this lawsuit, because I I think it could be better for NASCAR. Michael Jordan himself and other people that aren't even involved in this lawsuit has said before that if NASCAR doesn't change something money-wise, that it will be dead and gone in like 20 years because sponsorship is the only way to make money. Yeah. And the sponsorship is falling and keeps falling and keeps falling to these. We used to see like Walmart and like M&M's and all this, and even FedEx is going to leave after this year. It's rumored. So it's like we're starting to see all these well-named sponsors with all this money leave NASCAR, and now we have like Tootsie's, which is a bar in Nashville, and like, why are they sponsoring a whole NASCAR team? It's not like anybody can go there, or just these. My whole point is like a little sponsorship that they have on there that is not very well known. They might have some cool looking paint schemes and stuff, but if you look at a lot of the sponsorships on there, it's just not very well known sponsors.
Yeah. Well, and even like Hendrick Cars.
Yeah, I mean that's Rick Hendrick.
Yeah. So he literally is sponsoring his own car, and Napa is with Chase Elliott through the lower series.
Yeah.
But you don't get drivers like Jeff Gordon that has DuPont for almost his whole career, you know.
And very rarely do we have sponsors that will follow a driver all the way up and stay with him all the time. Like even like FedEx was probably the last one I seen do it where they would sponsor almost every race for Denny Hamlin. And now this year they're in the sport, but they're only sponsoring like 20 races out of the 36 now. They don't sponsor every race.
And even like today, they were talking in the race that Chase Briscoe was racing the Rush trucking, and it's his last time being on the hood of that car, and he's been with Stewart and Boyer, and now Briscoe, and has never won in that paint scheme, and it's like,
yeah. So the fact of the matter is, like the lawsuit or not, agree with it or not, NASCAR needs to find a way for these guys to make money minus the sponsors. And if they don't, NASCAR will not be around in 20 years because you cannot make money unless you have a second source of income. The guy that's the lawyer, this is the last thing I'll say, we'll move on. The guy that was the lawyer that's doing this lawsuit was on with Dale Jr. Download the Reloaded thing on Thursday, and I listened to him, and he said when the charters came out, I believe it was in 2016, the 15 teams that bought the charters, 9 of those 15 teams have already bankrupted and gone out of NASCAR. And if you look at the ones that started it, or that are still in it, that started it, are the teams that are big teams that have a second source of income. And that's how they're able to do everything, like the HendrickCars.com, or like RCR has his vineyard and stuff like that. We need to have a new financial model because it's expensive. I mean, yes, they make millions upon millions of dollars, but they also spend millions upon millions of dollars and then have so many employees. So, yeah you can look at them and say, you've made this much $1 million this year. You should be fine, but you have to look at what they spend too, because it doesn't matter. They can make $1 billion a year, but if they spend $1 billion, then are they really making money? Are they really have $1 billion? No, they don't. It's all gone.
And that's the thing that they're complaining because they're not getting money, but I bet it's all just being pushed right back into NASCAR's headquarters and NASCAR itself, and it's like, stop doing that and start paying the people that are actually, entertaining.
So I'm curious to see how it goes. They said it could be a year and a half to 2 years. I heard someone say something like this in a different sport lasted 10 years, but he doesn't see that happening this time. So it's going to be a while. It's going to be a topic of conversation for a while. But anyway, we'll move on from that. Shifting into third gear, we'll have the biggest wreck in NASCAR history, apparently. I'll say apparently because I saw that, but I thought they said there was like 28 cars involved. And like in 2012, there was like 32 or 33 cars involved in a wreck. So I don't know. Unofficially, I guess I will say, there's the biggest wreck in NASCAR history today. Huge wreck. It was.
Big wreck.
I will say, I was surprised that the 2-car didn't flip the way he got hit.
I'm surprised the 22-car didn't flip. Because the way he jumped up.
I know. Did you see the slow motion angle, like from the front view? If you look when he hit his tire literally disappeared into the rear of his car for a second.
I kind of saw it in fast. Like I was wondering like what happened, and I was rewatching the replay, and I was like, man, you can see when his toe link broke. And I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Imagine if that was the front tire
Yeah.
and how high like it would have jumped or ramped the car.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have been crazy. But, and not only that, I'm surprised that there wasn't a flip in any of the 3 series. Usually, more often than not, if you have all 3 series racing at the Talladega or Daytona in that same weekend, there's at least one flip in one of the 3 races. And there wasn't in any of the 3 races. So they added the fin, of course, for this race to reduce the takeoff speed.
Well, they added the fin and they added a little
for the
thing in the
roof flap, a little cushion. I can't pull it up, but
on this one. Oh, come on, there it is.
There it is.
Wasn't it right here? Or was it
right here? It's like they add a little cloth thing that acts as a parachute, so it slows the car down, and it's supposed to keep air to push it down, obviously, on there. And today it worked. I will say this: you can't base it off one wreck to see if it worked. You can look at Michael McDowell's wreck at Daytona and all what they said after that, and then literally the 2 laps later, Josh Berry flipped. So you can look at that and as an example of you can't really speak too soon, but seemed to do its job.
I feel like even on like aerodynamic situations like that, even Josh Berry, he was out in front, in the wind. Same thing with Ryan Preece. All of those wrecks are them by themselves almost.
Yeah.
But today, it was in the middle of a pack. That's not, dirty air. That's not just wind hitting you. The only thing that would have sent a car over today is if it would have been like getting hit and airborne. So.
Yeah, and you have to keep in mind too, everybody, that flips are going to happen. It's inevitable. There's probably at least going to be one flip next year. There could be another flip before the end of the season, but it's inevitable. It's going to happen. It doesn't matter what they do to this car. It's going to get hit a certain way. It's going to get up in the air, and it's going to flip. That's how it is. So especially with a car that is designed to have the air go under the car to the diffuser and come out this way. It's literally designed for air to go under the car. So when you turn it upside down or turn it sideways, you're still going to have air under the car. So it's still going to be there. It's going to happen. So flips are not bad.
You know what?
We need to just get over that.
That made a lot of sense.
It does. Thank you. But I appreciate that.
All right.
You know what else makes sense?
Candles?
Air fresheners.
Ah.
Yeah.
Same idea there.
Yeah. Change for $1. That makes sense.
Yep. All right. Shifted into 4th gear, and that will be Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Or you can call him, since it was Talladega, Ricky Bobby.
There you go. You can actually call him Ricky Stenhouse today instead of Ricky Spinhouse.
Oh, there you go.
He won it today. This is back. It seems like it's been forever since he won, but it's last year's Daytona 500, so it's been almost a year and a half to 2 years. But it's back-to-back wins
met him
now.
Before.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I saw him last week. He signed my daughter's paper.
Well,
he also signed my son's paper, which is a Kyle Busch little thing that had a Kyle Busch thing, and he signed it, and I thought it was funny because I'm like, he punched that guy this year, not today, but you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean.
So I thought that was funny, but yeah. So this is his first year that he's won back-to-back races, like not back-to-back, but like one win last year, one win this year. Is what I'm trying to say. Back-to-back years where he's won at least one race. So he's a better race car driver than people give him credit for. I think
he's
he can
always
do good.
running up there, and he always gets unlucky with, just mechanical issues or wrecks out or something. He's always up in the.
He's still an underfunded team. I mean, they don't have all the resources. So, I mean, you can't expect him to do good, but he always gets the most out of his car, I feel like, if he's not wrecking.
Well, on the list, is he higher or lower than Austin Dillon?
I think he's much better than Austin Dillon.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
But they're probably about the same funded team.
Yeah. I would say RCR has more funding than Brad Doherty Racing, JTD Doherty Racing, whatever it is. But I cannot confirm that because I'm not in either of those teams, so I can't say one way or another. But I will say this.
Because Ricky Stenhouse is the only one that races for him, right?
If Ricky Stenhouse goes to the 3-car, I think he does better than Austin Dillon does. That's all I'll say.
I agree.
I think he's a better race car driver. But
I agree.
You never know. Never know. I could be wrong, I guess.
Yeah.
But
who knows? Corey LaJoie might win the championship next year in the 51.
There you go. Rick Ware Racing for the win. I don't even know. He's not even confirmed to be in Rick Ware Racing next year.
Oh, that's cool.
I thought it was a done deal. I thought he was going to go there, but technically, I don't think it's official or confirmed where he's going next year. I think it's just for the end of this year. So
I'm still calling it. He races for Penske at least 1 year before his career ends.
We'll see. This year has been a horrible year for him for his confidence,
For anything.
and for his what's the word I'm looking for? His reputation.
Yeah.
So if it was last year, he got a chance to drive Chase Elliott's car when he was out.
Yeah.
So everybody was high on him, but this year, everybody's so bashing him so bad to where he's like, people are asking why he's even in the Cup Series. So
Yeah.
I don't know. He could go either way. He needs a couple good runs.
A lot of people, I mean, kind of like today, you can blame Brad Keselowski for the wreck. Yeah, but don't go, he was pushing. I mean, same thing when Corey LaJoie goes out, he had to get back in line, and he accidentally hit Kyle Busch that one time, But Rubbin's racing, sometimes if you push in the wrong spot, you're going to get spun out.
He hasn't made any more mistakes than any of our favorite driver ever has. That's just all of his mistakes has come to 1 year. Just a horrible year. He's been upside down twice. I kept waiting for him to flip today. But
if he would have won, Tyler Reddick would have won.
That's true. If he would have flipped today, then Tyler Reddick would have somehow won, because that's what's happened this year. So both of Tyler Reddick's win has had Corey LaJoie flipping in the race. But anyway, that being said, shift into fifth gear and final gear. We'll wrap this sapsucker up. Wrap up this bad boy. And the race overall, I say it was a great race. I mean, honestly, when it comes to... It had a close finish. It didn't have the flip that everybody's looking for super speedway. But when you look at...
It had the intensity towards the end.
It did. They had 4 wide racing for like 20 laps in a row.
That was insane.
It was awesome. Now, you can make the argument, well, they were still saving gas, so it wasn't as... It doesn't matter. When you're 4 wide like that, even if you're going 70 miles an hour, it's still exciting because you're still so close. Anybody could still make a mistake.
Let's just say, on a 2-lane highway, you put a third car on there, you'll be sweating too.
It was awesome.
And I want to see that in person. Because when you're there in person, which I wasn't there last week, but when you're there in person, I've been to several races, you realize that that's a full-sized car. And that track's a lot bigger than you think.
It's weird when you go to... I've never been to Daytona Talladega, granted. So I've never... I've been there, but not during a race. But
it's not granite. It's like asphalt.
Well, you know. But even Kansas and Gateway and the places that I've been to, Bristol, it's weird how the track looks smaller than you expect, and the cars look bigger than you expect. So when they're racing around there, it does look different on TV. It's almost like a weird perspective I can't explain. But you're like, man, that's an actual car that is going on this track, and this track is not as big as I thought it was. Because the TV makes it look so far away, but everything's still right there. And so it's pretty neat.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat. But the race overall, percentage-wise, I'm going to give it a 95% for Casey Kane, his last year racing for the 95 car. And
I've also met Casey Kane.
Oh yeah, there you go. I always feel bad for Casey Kane, because he's like, yeah, I'm going to retire, and then like 3 weeks later, he's like, I'm going to retire early, because he's just had so many health issues with the race car. He didn't really ever get a farewell tour.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, he's still racing dirt. I got to see him. What was that? The beginning of the summer, I saw him in a dirt car.
There you go.
So he sponsors Brad Sweet races, or Brad Sweet actually races for him.
Yep.
So pretty cool.
That's pretty neat. Which percentage?
I'll probably go 91 for the Project 91.
There you go. So, SVG, his old car, but he's going to 88. So.
Yep. So pretty good race.
It was
intense towards the end. Really I didn't get to watch the full thing, but yeah, with that wreck at the end, it was good. And just brought everything together.
I will say this. This is always the time of year where it's always bittersweet, because when there's no more restrictor plate races or super speedway races on the schedule anymore, then it just feels like the season's done. And so they only have, 5 weeks left, I think? 5 weeks left.
Because next week's a cutoff.
Yep. And then they have
there's
another round of 3 and then the championship. So 5 weeks and then the season's done.
Yep.
And so it's when this race is always done, it's always like, all right, now it's championship time. I really always focus on the points, who's going to make it in, and just look forward to the championship race. And then the holidays are there, Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, and before you know it, 2025 Daytona 500.
Hanukkah.
It's true, you can't forget that. Or Columbus Day, which is next Monday.
That is true. I heard the banks are closed for that. So.
I think I'm off work.
What?
I think. I have to look. I'm going to say that now, and then I'm going to go back there, and then I'll be disappointed when I'm not. But pretty sure I'm off work.
Well, preview next week, Roval. I've been at that track. Not for a race, just been there. It was pretty cool. Got to stand in victory lane.
There you go. You know, I had tickets last week to where if I would have been in the infield when Ross Chastain won, I could have went to victory lane with him. But I never, even if I had those tickets, I never really want to watch a race from the infield. I always like to.
That is true.
Be able to watch it. So, but
I
could have
thought about that. You would just have to stand there and turn the whole time. I just don't get it.
I don't know. Plus, you can't see hardly anything.
True.
But I could have. Once he won, I could have just went right down to victory lane and waited for him. He did a long enough victory celebration. I could have probably beat him there, but I didn't.
But Roval next week. It's a new configuration, so it's going to be interesting. It's kind of like 2 long straightaways and then more of a hairpin. So
a hairpin, like a bobby pin.
Yeah,
there you go.
Actually,
that's what I thought.
So
all right, well that'll do it for this week. So I need you. I'm looking at you, Luke. You like and subscribe. Do it. You call out a name.
Jaquavion.
There you go.
You subscribe to.
Now there's a Jaquavion that's watching this. He's like, how in the world? That deserves. You need to comment. And you need to tell me. And then there you go. So anyway, we'll be here next week. Hopefully. Anyway, there's not anything going on, so we should be able to do it. It's been busy, but hey, that's how it goes sometimes. So bye. Other hand.
Oh.